Welcome to this episode of All Access Aurora, and boy, do we have a show for you. We're going to kick off today with one of the coolest kayaking adventures around. It begins right here in our own city and explores three pretty cool suburbs of Aurora Land. We're then going to head over and talk to the good folks at community and schools, learn a little bit about the history, but also what you can do right now today to get involved and make a tremendously positive impact in our community. Then it's time for our A-list restaurant of the week. We're going to be hanging out with Chef Amore. This is a guy you're absolutely going to want to meet. Then in our entertainment section, long before it's lights, camera, action, long before you're in the audience here in Aurora, there is all kinds of legwork that goes in to bringing truly A-list talents to our stages, and we're going to learn the behind the scenes, a little bit of the shenanigans, a little bit of the nomenclature that brings that talent right here. And then we're going to end up taking a peek at one of the coolest buildings in Aurora, a building that's been around since before the Great Chicago Fire. And believe me, when you have an opportunity to hang out for a couple minutes with the owner of this building, you're truly going to be amazed. We're going to go ahead and hop in right now, kicking it off with Kayaking Amoy.
We are excited this morning to kick off what we've been calling Kayaks Amoy. Kayaking from Aurora to Montgomery to Oswego to Yorkville. Let's give a round of applause to all the kayakers and all their planners. This is exciting. First time as we bring these municipal leaders together to really show the impact of the Fox River on all of our communities. Allow me to introduce the mayor of this city as he enters his third term to lead the city of Aurora, city second to none. Please welcome Mayor Tom Weisner.
Fox River has been the economic engine for our communities for more than a century, almost going on 2 centuries really. We're about the business of reclaiming what is really the finest asset that any of us have in our riverfront communities, and that is the Fox River itself. So we're busy cleaning up the Fox River, the riverfront, and creating an economic engine based on activity, on recreation, on enjoyment of the Fox River itself. A new way to create an economic engine for all of us. What is a little bit unique about today, I think, is that this is really, as far as I'm concerned, a formal recognition that we will be working together from here on out to make sure that we optimize what happens along the Fox River, that people will be able to enjoy long stretches of the Fox, as we do today, as we kayak as far as Yorkville, and to work together to heighten both the amenities along our riverfront, but also to heighten awareness by people of what's available in our beautiful communities along the Fox.
After a final check of the gear, Aurora Mayor Tom Weisner leads the flotilla down the river to its first stop to learn about the boater bypass channel at the Earthen Dam in the village of Montgomery from President Matt Brawley.
The first leg from Aurora to Montgomery. I had a great time. It's like being on vacation in your own city.
I know we started in Aurora, and so you're right in the middle of this big city of Aurora. Well, when you get into Montgomery and you start making it down the river, you move into like a million miles away from here. You're on a kayak on a river. You could be 160 years ago, which is actually when the grist mill was built by our founder. So I think there's a lot of history, there's a lot of nature on this river, and one of the key items for this trip for me is actually highlighting the boater bypass project that the Village of Montgomery and others chipped in for that study about 5 years ago. And so we have the channel. We need to open up that waterway so that we can navigate from Aurora through Montgomery to Oswego and on.
Now it's time to push off and head downriver, where Village President Brian Leclerc will make a quick presentation at Violet Patch Park.
You know, you go along for several decades and nothing was really done about the Fox River. And all of a sudden now we're finding out, wait a minute, this is really the gem that all of us share. And so all of us are taking a part. We're coming together collectively as the mayors, as the representatives of our respective towns, and say, hey, let's work together. This is a regional asset. This is something that people travel from all over to be a part of. In fact, I talked to many folks from Chicago that come out to the whitewater park that we're going to hit in Yorkville today, and it's really neat to see that. But there's also other opportunities. There's biking, there's hiking, there's fishing, and then of course my love of kayaking.
After checking out the landscape at the kayak launch at Hudson Crossing in the village of Oswego, it's off for our final leg to the United City of Yorkville. And a visit with Mayor Pro Tem Chris Funkhauser.
Having this gem behind me, the Marge Klein Whitewater course, has been fantastic. We've had it for a couple years now. It's addressed a lot of issues we've needed. It's opened up our opportunities for recreation and tourism and our economic development downtown. We are the last part of the 13-mile stretch that goes from Aurora to here. Having the ability to have the 4 communities as a whole to try to seek these type of amenities and make this a greater element is fantastic. This is a small piece that we have, but it's all tied to the greater recreation of enjoying the Fox River, which is our main asset that we have. When you have these amenities, you get the influx at the local level, small businesses that come in, the locals come in, but on the grander scheme, if you get somebody coming from one stop to another, you're bringing in more people. They need those pit stops along the way, the places to pull out, have lunch, have something to drink, have a little refreshment. And that's key to it, is you have multiple options, multiple venues for people to want to come down. It's not a 1,200-foot whitewater course. It's a 13-mile excursion. So that's what it's really about, is expanding the horizon and the ability to bring in businesses and development that will center around the river and everything we have here.
Organizations can work on trying to accomplish tasks, but once you get the leadership from the top down involved, things just start to happen. What's real important about getting the mayors associated is because we want to get people to take ownership of their river. This is their river. It's not Aurora's, it's not Oswego, it's not Yorkville's, it's their river. And if we can get the communities involved with the river and get people to take ownership of it, they'll start taking care of their river, and which is what we want to have happen.
This event today, it's absolutely unique in the state. A lot of communities have developed whitewater parks, but first time today, these 4 mayors are cooperating to develop a regional whitewater park. This will be a national attraction.
Today, it was really cool to see the local mayors really fired up about promoting river access on the Fox River. It's because as whitewater boaters, we love whitewater, and as you know, Chicago and the whole Illinois area doesn't really have a lot of it. We have the Vermilion, we have Yorkville, which is awesome, but more whitewater, the better.
That was huge today. We had 4 towns working together. Montgomery wants a bypass channel. They thought they were all alone in the world in this desire. And Oswego, Aurora, and Yorkville stepped up and say, hey, we wanted to help you on this thing. And they all have an economic interest at heart. But they also have the interest of their community at heart as well, too. I mean, these things are healthy outdoor recreation, exercise, entertainment. They're great spectator sports, they're great active sports. I think now they've seen with their own eyes how valuable and necessary a component this is of a healthy community on a river.
You probably remember the movie Field of Dreams and the main line, if you build it, they will come. Well, that's certainly the case when it comes to our next story. How the tragic death in 1995 of 2 young great Aurorans has led to a tremendous impact on their community today. In this section, we're going to learn how 2 groups got together, Project Unity and also Community in Schools, how they rolled up their sleeves and began the hard work of getting the job done, supplying young Aurorans with backpacks packed full of essentials that they need to prepare to get ready for school. But the Community in Schools event, which is coming up, and as I said in the open, you'll be able to participate in if you like, does so much more than just give school supplies.
Well, in 1995, unfortunately, Moshe Rogers and Armando Mendez was killed. Armando was killed initially, and both of them was killed by gang violence. And with that, we started the Moshe Rogers and Armando Mendez Scholarship Fund. With Armando Mendez being the first one to go, we started that scholarship fund trying to give education to another student, as well as others, you know, so forth and so on. And from there, we started at Progressive Baptist Church on Lincoln, 20 North Lincoln. We started the Project Unity Back to School Fair and the Project Unity other programs.
We just know that through my brother's death, there's been a lot of good things that have taken place, you know, and of course, even though I'm thankful for those things, I miss my brother dearly, you know, and he was my best friend. As a result of his death and his legacy, in his short 17 years, the community really rallied around our family, and the community came together during that time. In '95 of February, Project Unity was formed, and many key leaders here in Aurora rallied around, and they wanted to do something to prevent violence and to help families to know that that there's a better way, to help kids and adults. And it was formed as a result of that, and it's still going on till today. I'm definitely moved by what Community in Schools has taken the responsibility of, and that's helping families that are in need. And from gaining volunteers to volunteers from schools and churches and just community people who want to make a difference in the lives of people, they come out and they strive to make an impact in people's lives. And I know for me, that's what my brother stood for, is making an impact. Now here's another community organization trying to do the same thing for the community, for people. And so as we work and invest that time into these families, and we see the young people coming in ecstatic and excited about getting backpacks and school supplies and paper and their teeth checked, and community agencies coming out to assist these families and helping their lives be better, there's almost nothing like it. I mean, it's nothing that I've been really exposed to here in the community that's really brought people together for one day is the event. You see people sweating and working hard together to make this event happen, and it's truly a blessing to see that come together.
One of the parts of Project Unity was schools, and then we started the Project Unity Back to School Fair, and one of the things we wanted to do is to have every child start school on the same footing, to have all their school supplies.
Then the original volunteers came to us saying that it just got too big, and could we help them manage it? And we were just thrilled because of what it means. It means kids are ready to go back to school. They have their physicals, they have their dental screenings, they have all the school supplies they need. Their parents learned about other community resources that help them throughout the year. So we were very fortunate. We feel very fortunate that they came to us, partners that come and they set up tables. And in order to get the supplies, all of our families have to stop at least 10 agency partners. And as they go through, they learn about other resources in the community that they can benefit from. And we've been very fortunate to have a number of agency partners that come every year because they see the value in it too. And they get contact with those families who most need the services.
Well, what the food pantry does is provide a mobile pantry of food. We will distribute about 20,000 pounds of food to 500 families on that day. After they get their backpack, they'll head over to Iglesia de Dios, and they'll be able to make their way around the truck. There'll be frozen meat, there'll be bread, there'll be produce, there'll be snacks for the kids, and a whole variety of food, cereal, breakfast cereal, and each family will get a distribution of food. And it's very important to have school supplies to do well in school when school starts, but it's also very important for kids to be well fed. Kids who are not adequately nourished, they struggle in school, they are sick more often, their illnesses last longer. We want to make sure that kids have everything they need to have a good start for the school year.
I'm just happy that we do have a scholarship. We do the back to school festivals and all that with Project Unity. I'm just happy that the parents did the right things by their children to push them in the right direction. Unfortunately, gang violence caused another problem, but we're stronger, wiser, and better today because of Moshe Rogers and Armando Mendez's lives.
Hey, I'm down at Chef Amore's. Going to grab a bite to eat. Come on down. I'll save a seat for you. In one of our favorite sections of All Access Aurora, we like to highlight some really cool places for you, your family, your friends to come and grab a bite to eat. In today's episode, we most certainly have hit an A-list restaurant that is concerned not only with how the food is prepared, how it's going to taste, but the ingredients that he uses to make sure you're getting one of the best meals, one of the greatest memories, so that the next time your stomach growls, you'll know exactly where to come. Let's say hello to Chef Amore.
I'm the owner, chef, dishwasher. You can catch me doing just about everything here. Chose Aurora because I live here. I've been living here for 16 years. I wanted to be part of something special and different. I wanted to be part of a new revolution. Well, what makes us unique is that we use mostly organic ingredients, and of course we buy or procure our produce from Lamb of God that's in Big Rock. We also do Soul Garden, and Soul Garden is Yorkville. That's the only certified organic farm in Kendall County. We love to use nothing but the best as far as produce, and I pay more money for what I use, but I think there's no compromising in what we use for our ingredients because I care about the community. Buying organic is more than just buying organic for the sake of being organic. Buying organic for me is knowing my source, knowing what they put into their product, okay, to make their product great, to make it such good quality. For me, you know, I care about what I put in my stomach. I think everybody else should care about what they put in their stomach, and I think everybody should care if there's a lot of if there's insecticide in there, if there's things that are poisonous to the environment and to your body. So I'm not going to put that in my system, so why am I going to put that into yours? I choose my wines as well. My bartender manager, Chris, he actually chooses the spirits and the beer. We have over 40 beers on our beer list, and we choose to stay with the small craft beers, and we choose to actually continue to support the small craft also spirits as well, because we think it's important. It's the same, it's like supporting us. It's like we feel we support them is like the equivalent to supporting our restaurant, because we're small too. A lot of times the big guys have the bigger budgets and we don't. We all don't. So it's kind of cool to support the small guy. And they're better. They're small batch and they're actually better. They taste better.
If you're like me, when it comes to entertainment, you think that all that matters is what happens from the moment you put your tuchus in the seat and it's displayed out on the stage or the big screen right in front of you. But in this selection, we're going to learn from one of the movers and shakers right here in the city of Aurora, and everything it takes, long before there's lights, camera, action, everything it takes to bring truly A-list talent to the theaters, to the stages, to the outdoor venues here in the great city of Aurora.
Paramount Theater has been around for 81 years, and I've been here about 3. And one of the reasons I was hired was to bring more to downtown Aurora. They'd had 50, 60 shows on average here for the past several seasons, and really great shows, fantastic acts. We do a tremendous number of performances every year. 188 last year was our actual final count. We bring people downtown here. We went from our most successful season ever, having 84,000 people here in 2006. That was before my time. Last year we had over 200,000 people attend shows at the Paramount Theater, and that doesn't include River Edge Park and all, the hundreds of thousands of people that we're going to be bringing to River Edge Park in downtown Aurora. We have a tremendous impact on the local economy. We, on average, bring about 85% of our audience from outside of Aurora. We found with Broadway that 60% that came to Broadway our first season had never been to the Paramount Theater before. So here we are with this new product and these great shows bringing people from outside of Aurora right here in downtown. And those people on average spend, according to most estimates, about $27 in supplemental goods and services in the area. One of the things that is most exciting is the fact that we've added a lot to the local economy. With just our administrative staff, we've added dozens of people. We have a costume shop that has folks building all the costumes for all of our Broadway shows. We've added a scenic shop. We're building all of our scenic elements for everything that comes on stage, and those are carpenters and painters and electricians. Everybody is busy, and that doesn't include the hundreds of people that actually are on stage when we have a show. We have literally sometimes 100 people on stage managing a show, 30 actors, 15 stagehands, support staff, the box office, the ushers. There are 50 ushers per performance generally. So we've really brought a lot of people with all of these extra shows downtown, and these are people that are working here day in, day out when we have these shows. Jim Cordy, actually, he's part of the reason for our success. He's a large part of it. Without him, you know, he's really guided these shows to make sure that they were the quality that we needed to be. This is a big, beautiful theater, and without proper artistic leadership, you know, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in. Jim Cordy has provided leadership to these Broadway productions, hired the right people, brought in the right casts, and they are the quality that they are because of his vision and his capabilities. He's an accomplished director, choreographer, and he's the only person actually in Chicago that's won a Jeff Award for direction, acting, and choreography. He's a Broadway star, and we're lucky to have him. It's not easy booking a show. It's not as simple as picking up the phone and calling an agent and having them return your call and talking about money. There's a lot of factors that kind of come into it. Who else is looking for that agent? Who else is looking for that act? Who wants to book that same person in Chicago? A lot of stuff that we have to take into consideration to be able to actually book a show. Part of it's budget, part of it's availability, part of it's what other people are willing to pay for that same act. It's a long process. I would say for every 10 acts that we actually try to book, we might land one. Next season we're going to have a mix of comedy and Broadway and concerts and different types of concerts. We have Larry the Cable Guy coming, we have Mannheim Steamroller, we have Miss Saigon, lots of different stuff. And the nice thing is, it's working here at the Paramount right now. We are having success that we've never had before, bringing people down that have never been here before. Our Broadway series is a perfect example. We're trying to do something that nobody has ever done before, and that's provide such an extreme value that there's no reason not to come. We do a buy 2 shows, get 2 shows free offer. The most expensive ticket for our Broadway is only $49. So you can front row Saturday night, see Miss Saigon or In the Heights or 42nd Street or Rent and see that for $49. And if you buy all 4 shows, you can get them all for under $100. And those are the best seats in the house. And the production quality of these Broadway shows are, well, they're as good as Broadway. And the critics have said it, the Tribune, the Sun-Times, everybody. They are raving about the experiences that they're having here. And that's why we've had the success that we have. In 2 seasons, we had almost 20,000 subscribers last year, and we're going to have more this year and more next year because we're going to keep doing what we're doing, which is working. An extreme value, a great show, and great customer service.
Welcome to our Aurora Texture segment, where we try to find the buildings right here in the city of Aurora, the structures that have a story to tell. And boy, the one we have for you today won't stop talking. In this segment, we're going to introduce you not only to a cutting-edge architect that brought this building through 2 lives to make it the landmark that it is today here in downtown Aurora, but we're also going to introduce you to an owner who has truly made his childhood dream come true. Now, this cool building is both a residence and a business. It's both 170 years old and just 2 years old. It's time for you to take a look inside the Holbrook Mill.
The thing that inspires me about this building is not only the process of putting the building together, but also the fact that this is a very important cornerstone of downtown Aurora, and the fact that it sets, this jewel sets the context back into history. When the library goes in, the size and scale of this will remind people what downtown Aurora was at an earlier age. The 1871 Chicago fire, that they demanded resources of wood and stone, and we were able to provide them. In return, we were paid for those materials, and we created our own urbanism. And so we've got a lot of really nice 2, 3, 4-story buildings. We even have, Leyland Hotel is 17. And so we've got a nice diversity of tall buildings of historic scale, size, and proportion in the urban cores along the Fox River Valley. The thing that makes urbanism interesting, especially in Kane County, is the variety of the buildings that we have. And so this, with the beautiful stone of the local limestone, or it's known as Batavia limestone or Joliet limestone, this yellow limestone is distinct to Kane County. And it's really hard to work, but when it's done in all its different ways, it's a magnificent material. The adaptive reuse of this building was that we've got a mixed use of residential and commercial, and that both of those functions help to make downtown Aurora more enlivened.
I love old things. Old things are cool. It's as simple as that. It's a very short story. Every little kid wants to be a firefighter when they grow up. Some grow out of it and some don't. I got hooked and laddered, as I say, for life. And so at the age of 3 or 4, I was sort of adopted by a firefighter, and he took me under his wing and said, if you want to grow up to be big and strong and be a firefighter, you got to eat your Wheaties and do what your parents tell you. And that was very inspirational as a child. I got a call to come back to Aurora. We had a project to renovate the old Central Fire Station in Aurora and turn it into a museum. And so when I came back to be involved in that project, I realized I needed a spot to live, and I knew that I liked Aurora and I was going to be here for a while, so I wanted to put down roots in the community. The mill itself, when I first came to Aurora, I was familiar with the building and had heard stories of it being believed to be one of the oldest buildings in the county and things like that, and that was kind of cool. I never really dreamed originally that I would end up owning the building or renovating it, but certainly once I saw the place, I realized a couple things. I realized it was a worthy project that needed to be done, and I had the time and the patience and the experience and the resources, financial and otherwise, to do it. So it was just a natural fit for me and my passion. But seeing the building when I first walked in, the roof had collapsed. There was no foundation in the building. The whole place was waterlogged and rotten and molded, and the boards were all warped, and there's large gaping cracks and holes throughout the building, and you kind of tipped around and you have that sense of wonder going, oh man, should I really be in here? Is it safe? Do I need a hard hat? You know, where's my safety rope or whatever? And but then to really, I was able to realize that with a little bit of love and a little bit of attention, this really was a project worthy of saving. And we actually had to demolish it. And that took a lot of wrangling on the side of my personality. Here I am, a historic preservationist, and I'm trying to save the oldest building in the county, and the only way to save it is to literally tear it down and start again. What you see around me is actually a very careful historic recreation based on the original building using much of the same materials. But it is actually a brand new building. It is not the original Holbrook Mill. I have a little bit of that firefighter in me, in that I do have a passion for the community. I do like saving things, buildings, or people as they were.
All you have to do is spend a few minutes with David, and you soon realize he became every bit the fireman the little boy in him dreamed of becoming. Thank you for joining us on our inaugural episode of All Access Aurora. You should know that this is shot in Creative Commons. There's no copyright, so feel free to take the footage, take the segments you see here, and share with all your friends. Also, please join us at allaccessaurora.com. We've got all kinds of cool interactive features on our website, including one where right now today you can get involved in community and schools and the Aurora Interfaith Food Pantry, two powerful organizations making a real impact in the lives of fellow Aurorans right now today. There's also some cool competition, some enter to wins, and it's all going on at allaccessaurora.com. Please also drop us a line. If there's a cool thing, if there's a show episode that you're thinking of and you want us to know about it, please leave us a message there, and we'll go ahead and do our very best to get your version of All Access Aurora broadcast to all of our viewers. Thank you so very much. Again, check us out, allaccessaurora.com.